Greetings, YouTube. I received a message from Iris Eye yesterday, which seemed particularly pertinent, seeing that this is the time when many people make New Year's resolutions. And if before anyone asks, I don't make them. If I think it's time to make a change in my life, I just make the change. I don't need a particular date to do it. But Iris Eye asked me a question, and he said he wanted to know, I think it's a he, I apologize if I'm wrong, is there anything in my past that I would change? Because while I'm not trying to troll for sympathy, I've had a few tough breaks in my life. And there are things that, if they had been different, my life would have been more positive. Well, the first thing that popped into my head when he said that is, well, physics pretty much makes time travel impossible. The only conditions under which I believe time travel would actually work requires a permanent wormhole, a ship moving near the speed of light, and it would only allow you to travel back to the moment when the wormhole was created. It would not let you travel back prior to that. Additionally, the history we experience today is the history we have. You can't change it. You might create a new history, and if you go into the past and did something different, so you might be playing with the many worlds theory, or maybe you're just finding an existing many world universe that already exists. But the history we have here is the history we have. Period. This is what we've got. We can't change it. So even if I could go into the past, this is still what I've got. So on that level, the answer is, why bother? But there's a there's a philosophy question here too. Would I change things in my past if I could to become a different person than I am now? And to me, that involves looking back at things in a way that harkens to the concept of regret. Do you have regrets? I'm 48. Effectively, I spent 47 years of my life living in the past. Sometimes on an hourly basis, wondering how I could have changed things if they had been different. I can remember as a child, I was 6 or 7 years old, wondering if my father had been born a day later, would he have been a better person? Would he have been a different person? Would he have not been the abusive drunk that he was? And the answer is no. He would have still been born into the same family, being raised by an abusive drunk, my grandfather. He still would have had a genetic predisposition to addiction, and he still would have had a genetic predisposition to depression. So no. Delaying him a day or a week or a month or a year wouldn't have changed any of those things. That kind of speculation was and is pointless. But more importantly, now, this year, my 48th year, I've come to the realization that living in the past is a waste of my friggin' time! I want those years back. I want those decades back of my life that I spent pondering about what could have been different if things had just gone slightly in my favor. Who would I be now? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. I am who I am. What happened, happened. I can't change any of it. Speculating about what could have been may be a pleasant pastime if you're talking about role-playing storylines, like what would have happened if, the English Revolution had failed, or what would happen if Hitler, had gotten really good at painting. Those kind of things. But when it comes to your personal life, they're just going to hold you back. At best, they're going to keep you in place, pinning you in place so that you don't change, you don't improve, you don't move forward. And I've had enough of that noise. I don't live in the past anymore. I live right here. I'm thinking about what's going on ahead of me. Now, I may not have much of a plan at this point. Heck, I may never have much of a plan. But I'm not going to waste my time thinking about what could have been, if my scoutmaster hadn't been an ass, or what could have been if, my father hadn't been an abusive drunk. What does it matter? Those things didn't happen. Those might have beens and what ifs are just going to hold me in place and keep me from experiencing the now and keep me from moving forward. And I've had enough of that. I find it very poignant that Iris Eye actually discusses that with me right now, because I have a little piece of paper here with some notes on it that I'm taking to my therapist tomorrow. It's my session on Thursday. And there's a line here I wrote. Now, I wrote this before he sent me this email. And it says, "No longer living in the past." So this is a topic that's very, very much in my mind. That's right here, right now. I believe that is a bit of synchronicity, a bit of serendipity, if you will. The right time and the right place to discuss something. And this is the right time and right place to discuss this. So I thank you, Iris I. So I'm not going to talk about what might have been, because it's pointless. I'm not going to speculate, because it's meaningless. What I am going to do is I'm going to live right here, right now. And I'm going to think about tomorrow. And the only time I'm going to speculate about that stuff is going to be when I'm discussing storylines for role-playing games, or for speculations of stories in my head because I occupy myself at work. I'm not going to worry about it when it comes to me anymore, because it doesn't matter. What matters is who I am now, and who I will become. And I will be better tomorrow than I am today. And I will be better even further the day after. And that's what I'm going to occupy myself with. I'm not going to worry about all the regrets in the past, because frankly, I don't have any anymore.